Good now, happy Monday, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. My name is Evan, and I'm so glad that you're here, whether you're tuning in live on TikTok or in the future on YouTube. Hi, hello, how are you? Thank you for spending your morning with us, or your morning somewhere with us. You've been hearing a lot about cryptocurrency, but it seems like the more you hear, the less you understand. It has something to do with money, but you're not really sure what, and nobody can actually explain it to you. That's what we're here for. We're happy to help make it easier to understand. We're happy to make it safe for you, and we want you to have a lot of fun along the way. So come on in. Oh, and our friends are already here. I love it. There's Tori. Good morning. It's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. I know Alex is on his way. I am so looking forward to the show today. Tori, how was your weekend? And welcome everybody. Welcome Joey. We're just getting started. As they say in crypto, you're early. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what's not early though. This beard is late. It is a top signal. It is time to sell. I gotta trim this beard up. Oh my goodness gracious. Let me know what you did over the weekend. The Bitcoin protocol has not blown up yet. It's been a whole week since the halving, so we're totally fine there. There was that interesting article that came out of Forbes I'd like to get Alex's opinion on and hear what everybody else thinks. Oh, you failed your radio test for ham radio? Oh no. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm surprised. I don't know what a radio test actually entails, but I am kind of surprised. I'm surprised it would be failable. Although I guess it makes sense that, if it's a test, it could be failed. It could be failed. I got to do a photo shoot with the 80s band yesterday. It was a lot of fun. We went to a vintage clothing store and played dress up in this tiny, tiny crowded space and then went outside and took pictures. And I was kind of skeptical about it, but the guy who was the proprietor, not the photographer, sent me some shots he had taken from his. I didn't study, so I was surprised if I would pass. I'll try again next month. Hey, there's Alex. What's going on, man? I'm sorry to hear you didn't pass your test, Tori. Did you hear that, Alex?
No. What?
Oh, Tori took a ham radio test and did not pass. And now I'm just harping on it, adding insult to injury. I don't know. I am excited to learn about Tori's radio adventures. I feel like,
I'm just now finding out that there is a test for ham radio.
Well,
is it just like radio etiquette, or
yeah, I'm curious to know too.
what all is included in that?
Yeah, you'll have to let us know, Tori. How was your? I feel like we just talked yesterday, but how was your weekend? You got to rescue some dogs.
Yeah, one or two.
Got to make some content. We got to hang out a little bit.
Did a little of that. I don't know. It's good.
I sent the newsletter at precisely 1:29 a.m. So really late your time. the sometimes late but always timely newsletter has some cool stuff in it. One of the things it does not have is the 20 zombie crypto list from Forbes. And Mac and I posted about it last week. And Alex, you made a comment on, I think, each of our videos, but I didn't get to ask your opinion on it. And I honestly have been waiting until today. I've been very excited because I thought it was a great article for a lot of reasons, but I wanted to know what you thought about the article and what you thought about the list. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. I thought that might be a fun thing to do by way of news. And I can throw it in my background so people can see it in tiny, tiny print.
Yeah, I was going to say, let me pull it up because I wanted to look at that list.
Yeah, so, whip it up. And for people who aren't familiar, this March, there was an article in an issue of Forbes magazine that called 20 of the 50 billion cryptocurrency tokens with a $1+ billion market cap zombies, meaning they're dead, alive, walking. They have no apparent or little use aside from speculation. Mm-hmm. And it was a really interesting list. And the guy who wrote it is a crypto guy. He worked at Kraken. He runs crypto assets over at Wall Street. Blockchain Association, and also for Forbes. So he covers the topic a lot. He at least knows enough to have an opinion about the crypto space. And I'm just curious to know what everybody else thought about it. If I can get this list up. Syncing picture from iCloud. Wow, that sounds fancy. Hold tight.
So my only, we didn't get very much context with each of them. Like the comment. So every single one of these has a little comment with it, like a sentence or two. Two is a strong word. I think actually every single one of them is like one sentence. And it's not even a complete sentence. They're super pithy. And I think that several realities of each of these blockchains or ecosystems situations are being conflated here. So I think that the impetus for the article was that, like, hey, these are overvalued in this author's opinion.
Yeah, that's a really good way to say it.
But he presented all of them as if they were useless instead of overvalued. So, like, if what we're talking about is, things being overvalued, that, like if for a company to have this high of a market cap or this high of a valuation, it would need to have, revenue of this and a user base of this to generate that revenue and whatever. Like, that would have been a totally reasonable article to write, because I would agree that I think pretty much everything on this list, I mean, I don't know, I think everything on this list is overvalued, but it's not written that way. It's written very poorly, in my opinion. And I think this was written for attention, and it was written to get clicks, and it was very clickbaity.
And boy, did it work.
Yeah, no, it worked. It was written to generate rage and to get attention. Because most of these have hyper aggressive tribes. Like if I was to take all of the different cryptos that have, the most like aggressive supporters, a lot of them are on this list. Some of them aren't, some of these are not. There's no Litecoin tribe. But like Eagle.
Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision.
Yes, the Satoshi's Vision one. Like EOS and Tezos and Mina don't have tribes, and those I think are fair play. I mean, EOS certainly is fair to put on this list, but like, and it's not even to say that none of these are fair. Like if the argument was just like, hey, these are overvalued, it's insane that these companies have a $1 billion+ valuation. Because, of X, Y, and Z, how many users are there, blah, 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 whatever. But no, I thought it was very poorly written, clearly for attention. It wasn't written to teach anyone anything.
I would agree with that about the visual, but I actually thought and I don't know why the hell it's not loading. I'm going to try and get a fresh screenshot so people can actually see some of the cryptos that we're talking about. But I thought the article, while not what I would call totally unbiased journalism, was a well-argued opinion piece. I didn't feel like it overstepped its bounds necessarily. I do think there were some that I certainly disagreed with, but to the best of his ability, and I wish the author had been a little more, I'll say, humble about, I could be wrong about this. I don't know everything that's going on with all these tokens, that kind of thing. But I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was terribly necessary. I do wish, like you said, he had called them overpriced. But zombie was a great word. I have to give it to him. I really do.
No. I mean, none of that there's nothing wrong with it. I think this as an article, like there should be more of this type of stuff. Like I said, if the thing had exclusively been like, hey, why are these things worth $1 billion+? Like, can we dissect it and try to figure that out? But that's not what this is. That, at least that's not what I took from it. What I took from it is intentionally inflammatory writing that was probably just meant to piss off a bunch of over aggressive and over leveraged salty bag holders, because Lord knows that every single one of those projects on that list has a few of them. Um,
Yeah,
you grab my coffee, but I don't
you're
know.
good.
It's not poorly written. I just thought it was poorly represented.
I am trying so hard to get this picture up. I just sent myself a fresh copy of it so you guys can see the list, but alas, it looks like it's not going to work. Okay. In lieu of that, I am going to put up one or two little bits from the article because there were some tokens that I felt he did do that with, and I want to give him credit where credit is due. And this is the thing, I mostly cited from and screenshotted from the free version of the article, that he is like writing to hype up and reference the main article that you got to pay for that has a lot more of the research in it. I went to the Wayback Machine and looked at it. They talked to a number of folks in the crypto industry. It was a variety of quantitative and qualitative research. So he gets opinions from people like, the CEO of this or that, Polygon Labs. And then he also does a lot of kind of quantifiable, quantitative evidence too. He said here about, let me see, about where did he get Ripple? The Ripple bit was really fantastic, I thought. Where he calls XRP a crypto zombie. He says there's about $2 billion in volume that trade on this token every day. But as we often talk about in the case of the XRP currency specifically, he points out that while folks are vehement, it'll be used one day as a global sentiment layer, or is being used that way, that most people who want to do that kind of business are not going to prefer a volatile currency to something like the US dollar. And he goes on to say, in terms of global money flows, Swift and Tether are the primary competitors that somebody like XRP would have to beat or do better than to attract that kind of attention. And Swift alone does $5 trillion in transactions every day, which is not to say that somebody couldn't overtake it. But if somebody's going to overtake it, it's probably going to be Tether. And if it's not going to be Tether, it's probably going to be somebody else stable or a private blockchain. Go ahead.
Just on the Swift thing, because I've made this video before. I should make it again.
You should.
It's really hard to find an exact number because it's not really kept track of that way. But if you try to figure out what the valuation of Swift is, and then ask yourself why XRP, who simply wants to overtake what Swift does but has not, is valued at like 100 times more than Swift, because I'm pretty sure Swift has a general valuation of like something ludicrously low. Like, let me try to find it.
Here, I was typing it.
It's not like a publicly traded company, so it's not like it has a market cap.
No, right. I'm trying to figure out some sort of valuation though.
Yeah, so
roughly 50 billion. So where did you find? And this is according to the Ripple subreddit, and I'm looking for the source to back up this claim. And the thing about this is, this is a mess. Never mind. This started 7 years ago. The user's name is XRP Twerp.
There you go.
Which tells you a lot about the kind of conversation he's having with someone else over here on Reddit. Oh my goodness, yeah.
What's the source? Yeah, don't worry about it, Tori. There's no such thing.
What's a source exactly? Yeah, so I say it almost is worth going to the Wayback Machine. It's a long article and checking out some of the journalism that's in the piece, because while it is incendiary and it's definitely made for clicks, I think it has some measured takes from perspectives that a lot of folks who are in the communities of these overpriced tokens may not be getting. I was frankly shocked though that he included Monero. I was a little shocked as I learned more about it. I knew a little about Arweave, but some folks were like, Arweave's on there? And then I looked into it. Did you know Arweave hosts more NFTs than IPFS right now?
I did not.
Yeah, and increasingly, on-chain file storage is going to become important. I think probably in the future people will use a variety of on and off-chain, stuff to do their file storage. It won't be everything on a blockchain all the time. Kind of like we're doing with like, does everything in your game need to be on a blockchain? Probably not, but some things should. So, it was a great take that the crypto industry needed from a guy who was willing to make himself a villain in a publication that, folks were ready to hate on, kind of thing,
Yeah.
but which was going to get plenty of attention. Are you responding to someone in the comments that I can't see? Who's invisible? Oh, no. Get player, there you are. Welcome.
Yeah. So they were asking about, I didn't know if we were talking about like the iBit or if it was something else, just because I have never seen the question asked quite like that. But yeah, in general, so that's a trust. It's one of the more traditional investment vehicles adopting Bitcoin, of which we are big fans.
Big fans. Definitely big fans. On Friday or Thursday, after we ended I don't remember, but we weren't live. We either had just ended a live or were not live that day. And I think it was the first day that there wasn't a purchase of Bitcoin by, I can't remember who, one of the ETF custodians. And I also learned recently, so like, not necessarily a bearish signal, but just like, losing a little bit of steam perhaps. I also learned that most of the ETFs at some level, I saw a really good flow chart. I can't find it just now. It won't come up on my phone. Is that Coinbase backs a lot of those. Like the actual Bitcoin that most of the ETFs represent is somehow held or custodied by Coinbase, which is, I think, pretty bullish.
Yeah, I would
But
say
it gives
so.
me a little cause for concern, Coinbase is a giant, is why it gives me cause for concern. I love Coinbase. I think everything they do is pretty much great and important for our space, but, worried about them becoming the next Facebook. Good thing to think about.
Yeah, that's a weird thought exercise.
Imagining Coinbase is the next Facebook, yeah. With all their like, the new internet is here, take back the world, or whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I get shadowy vibes from some of their stuff. They want to like lead the revolution, and I appreciate the role they play, and the role their money plays big time. But like also, we've talked about this before. I am curious and concerned about what their leadership will look like 5 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, I think that as long as everyone has a clear understanding of what they are, that they are arguably the best user experience from an exchange perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bank. They are hyper centralized.
I bet Base spins out of Coinbase as a foundation when that happens and becomes Instagram in this analogy. That's a good comment. That's interesting. There's already kind of a layer of insulation there. A lot of the employees, they talk about them very separately. It's former Coinbase people who wanted to pursue a different sort of vision that Coinbase wasn't working on, but the relationship is close. Definitely close. Alex, do you think Coinbase, Nick asks, will take on BlackRock down the road for real world assets?
I'm curious what you mean by take on, because I don't know, of course, but
I'm interpreting this as challenge their market position as the person who's got the most instruments you can touch. Which is a weird way to say that,
So I don't who custodies BlackRock's Bitcoin? Are they doing it themselves or is that somebody else?
No, that Coinbase is custodying pretty much everyone's Bitcoin ETF Bitcoin, except for it's an R1. I gotta pull that chart up again. I'll pull it up here on my computer. I don't know why I can't show my
So-
cute little green screens on the live, but go ahead.
In that case, I don't think that Coinbase will take on BlackRock. I think that they will work hand in hand to do that together, because BlackRock needs Coinbase's infrastructure and name, and Coinbase probably wants BlackRock's money. So
Big time.
I don't think they're going to compete at all. I think they're going to.
Oh, you know what? They're the primary for most, but they're not the only for
Right.
all, except one. So they're the custodian, the sole custodian for BlackRock, iShares, ARK, Bitwise, Grayscale, and then the others have like secondaries, as well as Coinbase, but Coinbase is mostly the primary custodian for all the Bitcoin ETF volume, and definitely for BlackRock.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mishiste said it right. It's like if Walmart was going to try and take on Coca-Cola. They've got like Sam's Club Cola that you can buy, but it's not, they stay in their lane, which is, on a different shelf. Coke's right out front. Don't worry. But in case we run out, you can have Sam's Cola. you know what I mean? Like,
we've got great value of everything.
Exactly. And we've got Pepsi on the phone if Coke screws up, kind of thing. That's the vibe for sure. Alex, I wanted to tell everybody, since we did put the newsletter out, if you are not getting the newsletter, please let me know. I am watching, and week over week, we have a couple of people who are like bouncing. So while I'm thinking about it, if you're not getting the Rise Up Morning Show newsletter, do me a favor.
It's not in spam.
It's not. Yeah, check your spam folder. And then, honestly, we have a small enough newsletter list that you could probably just send me a DM at this point. Like, that's cool. Send me a DM and I'll get you sorted. I bet there's just a typo or something like that. And you can always try to sign up again at the link in either of our profiles. But last week's episode, I think, is going to be super, super helpful. Lots of links to lots of stuff, including the new YouTube tutorial, which is do your own research. How do you do it? What's the process like? Alex, that cute picture we took at the end of our recording session was kind of blurry, so it's a true faceless thumbnail. I have to go back and watch it and put in some little timestamps again, but I'm excited about that one for people to, give us their feedback on it. I think it's a good one. Linda, you got it? Okay, good.
Excellent.
I'm glad you're getting them now, because for a minute you weren't. Mihir was having trouble getting them, so I'm like,
Anyway, yeah, overall, though, I thought that the article was like, and I haven't read the entire paid version, obviously. Been trying to piece it together from all of the coverage of it, because, like you said, it's everywhere. And I should just do it. I don't know why I wouldn't just get it. Can you do that? Can you get just like one specific article without having to subscribe to the platform?
No, but you can go to the Internet Archive, which is the Wayback Machine, and I know you know about this, Alex, but it's archive.org. You can put in the URL, which I can get, and I can probably just send you a copy of the available for free version of the article saved on the Internet Archive.
Yeah, that would be cool. I was looking. I mean, some of these are projects that I have not thought about in a while, that I think definitely fall squarely into the why are they alive, because they have a lot of bag holders.
Yeah, big time.
Like,
and
Algorand.
Like which one?
Algorand.
Yeah, I kind of lumped, Algorand. I feel like Tezos is in the same kind of Multiverse X. Some of those like layer 1-2s are in the same kind of conversation flavor for me. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The salty bag holders, and I don't know, a narrative that's lost its steam at this moment.
I thought Polkadot was on this. It's not, though.
No, dude. They did not call it, and it might be because does Polkadot have $1 billion market cap or no?
I genuinely don't know. That's a good question. Let me look.
And notably, they really, they don't have Solana. They don't have, like Pepe. They don't have any of the tokens whose absolute stated utility is meme coin. And I think it's because, I don't know if it's because they wanted to highlight cryptos who brand themselves as not meme coins, or if it's because the guy feels that meme coins actually have more, utility, even though their utility is to be a meme. Because I think they do.
Yeah.
And
yes, they have an almost $9 billion market cap.
Oh, well then, yeah. I guess he doesn't think they're a zombie. Bullish for Polkadot? Maybe so.
It was funny because the sub Polkadot as a talking point had come up once or twice, and Mac and I were talking about it, and Mac's not a fan because just from an investability standpoint, not looking at anything else, it just hasn't moved. And they've never marketed. I think the only piece of like trending Polkadot content that I've ever seen is from however many years ago it was that Gavin Wood stood on stage and did the substrate demonstration on a fresh out of the box MacBook. I don't know if you remember that video, but that was a famous one.
Yeah.
I think that's about the only time Polkadot's ever marketed anything. But it was just funny because it just came up the other day in the subject. I was talking to my dad about which one he was using to like test something, and he was like, and this is my dad's analysis of it from a tech standpoint, giving zero shits at all about the investability of something. He was just like, oh yeah, Polkadot is best far and away for what I'm trying to test, and I was just like, that's really funny. I had to call back, and I was like, so the timing on this is impeccable. But get a load of this.
Nick, what we were saying a second ago is that Coinbase does hold the private keys for BlackRock Bitcoin ETFs, Bitcoin. But that's what it means to be a custodian. I know that they have some insulation going on. I'm pretty sure they use like a trusted third party for some things and then have some of it on their servers. So if I'm remembering correctly, it's sort of like the Ledger solution where none of the information exists in one place, accessible by one person who could, go rogue because Brian Armstrong didn't give him a raise this year and steal the Bitcoin. I understand it to be something that is at least sufficiently decentralized, even for Coinbase, a custodian. Like they're not, one of the advantages of being so big and so centralized is you can say like, we're going to have 5 server farms. We're going to have a multi-sig. We're going to, you can have infrastructure. We're going to pay a company whose sole job is security to help us, whatever. And they publish all that stuff on their website. I just don't happen to have it up at this very moment because I'm still trying to hunt for this URL to get the, paid version of the article in the Wayback Machine. Just tell me, Alex, is XRP going to rip? Probably not. Sorry, man.
I mean, we obviously don't know, but like there is no reason for it to rip. So if a reason, that's not to say that a reason couldn't present itself, but I have a hard time imagining what that would be.
Kublai Khan says an interesting comment: need an anti-BlackRock, anti-CIA, anti-London index of news quality. That would be an interesting aggregator. I bet a lot of people would go to that website to see, what articles scored high. I know, the anarchists would be all over it.
So I love wearing the conspiracy theory hat from time to time. Am I just like out of the conspiracy loop? Because I have a hard time imagining that like BlackRock has much interest in the CIA. What's the CIA BlackRock partnership? Is that some sort of thing that I'm just sleeping on, or are we just like conflating two sketchy organizations together?
I really just think they were talking about, like the institutions. Kublai Khan says, though, if BlackRock is using any service, the CIA utterly controls it. Get off it. I will definitely say I don't know that I feel like BlackRock is in cahoots so much directly with them. But my conspiracy hat take would be Certainly, the CIA, an organization that has proved to have meddled in some of the most important institutions and actions in the last, 100 or so years,
Certainly.
has a vested interest in influencing what people like BlackRock do. But I don't know that Larry Fink is like hanging out at their office kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to look because, well, he said it again.
Who? Larry Fink did? I'm hanging out
No,
at the CIA. Hashtag, what's up? Hey,
no,
Twitter, hanging out at the CIA.
Hublai says if BlackRock is using any service, the CIA utterly controls the service. Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a hard time imagining that. See, I don't know. The conspiracy. I don't know. I feel like that's conflicting conspiracy theories, but
The updated comment Hublicon gave is BlackRock owns a third of Ukraine since the IMF reforms, i.e., corruption. Ukraine war was created just for them. The connection is kind of obvious. If BlackRock writes off Ukraine, it causes a crash. I certainly don't disagree that the markets are so intertwined in that way. I just don't know that I think it's as coordinated as a bunch of people colluding behind the scenes in perfect synchrony with each other. Robbie, if you're not getting the newsletter, send me a message. I've got you on a list, and I just need to make sure it's right. So send me a message with your email. If you did not get the podcast, if you didn't get the newsletter, send me an email, and I'll make sure. Send me a DM, whatever we're calling it. I'll make sure your email's on the list. It's Monday, guys. Help me out. Alex, what do you use to buy your crypto right now?
I mean,
if you were going to be buying crypto, deploying a lot of capital right now onto the chain from off chain.
Yeah.
Coinbase has got fees. Binance is tough to use also has fees. How are you getting cash into the ecosystem?
I mean, if I was not going to use either of those, I would say Kraken.
And you would buy it with a credit card?
I mean, so with both Kraken and Coinbase, my bank account is linked for ACH transfers because that's my off ramp too for whenever I get paid.
Yeah, I like to link banks. I feel better about linking a bank to an exchange than I do about honestly connecting my crypto wallet to a lot of stuff, which says something. But I would say if you do that, make sure you feel good about your bank and you feel good about the exchange and know how to disconnect, know how to move that money around. I also like, especially for somebody who's deploying capital maybe for the first time, I think it's helpful to like pick a handful of tokens that you can find good buy setups for and then diversify later. Like diversification is important, but I think if you don't have a lot of capital that you're deploying, it almost doesn't make sense. Like you don't want to have $100 invested in crypto into like 100 tokens, It makes more sense, I think, for a lot of people at the start, especially, or below a certain threshold of worth to kind of, you pay a fee every time you move something in and out, and you got to keep track of a lot of stuff. So, I, for example, right now, I'm pretty much only consistently buying Bitcoin. And I found a company, River, that allows me to do $0 recurring purchases from my bank. You can buy in tiny increments and as often or unoften as you want. Or you can just, set it and forget it, or you can go in and buy it. But they do 0 fee withdrawals, 0 fee recurring orders. And there are solutions like that for any token you might want to buy. For the most part, I feel like. Bitcoin will obviously have more, but yeah, find an exchange you like, link your bank, use a credit card. I would recommend, I don't know, any of them are good. Circle has it, Stripe has it, and honestly, I think it's PayPal or Cash App that I think it's Cash App. One of them has a just really highly rated by a lot of people in the Bitcoin community crypto wallet. Which I was kind of surprised about. Let me see. Yeah, Cash App.
There's also like you were saying, Evan, too, you can, depending on how circuitous you want to make your path on chain, if you are, in any way, shape, or form averted to using one of the major, main centralized exchanges, I mean, you can go straight through. You could onboard anything that you wanted through Cash App or through Venmo or PayPal or any of those as kind of like the middle ground, from the big centralized exchange to more of like just a centralized money service.
Yes, but some of them don't let you do withdrawals or transfers, or there are limits on them. Cash App is, I think, of those like the PayPal's, etc., probably the best one because you can withdraw to any crypto wallet that you can connect to.
Does Venmo not let you
No.
transfer?
No, Venmo does not, or they have restrictions on your transfers. I don't use it personally, so I don't know what all the restrictions are, but I do know that they restrict your ability to transfer assets.
Gotcha.
But they're both custodial options. So I would, if you're going to use one of them, I would use Cash App to purchase and then withdraw it somewhere. Though
you're going to end up paying more in fees to do something like that than you would on Coinbase, because you're going to have to swap the crypto into something else, pay a fee for that, bridge it to whatever else, pay a fee for that, move it to a DEX that has the thing you want, pay a fee for that, then buy something else. So it's easier just to pay the Coinbase fee, to be honest, and cheaper.
Yeah. And Nick recommends Coinbase One is the best if you use Coinbase. I would be curious to know what everyone else is using to onboard fiat to crypto also. Mashiste asked about it in the comments. I always like to know what people are doing because I honestly, that's one of those areas where there are so many options, and usually some people know some cool stuff that we don't know about yet. We had a question, Alex, about decentralized social, and this is something we've been talking a lot about the last couple of weeks. If you are interested in this movement, you definitely should check out the newsletter because all the good information is there. But Warpcast is the far and away leader right now. It's like a Twitter clone, but has stuff on chain built on Base by a lot of, former Coinbase people. There's also Dracula. Lens Protocol has Orb and Hey. Zora is a really interesting one. And increasingly, Alex, I'm starting to see more fun ones pop up. There's one called Unlonely that's like TikTok, but just make it streaming. And then there's one that I wouldn't call it a social network necessarily, but it kind of is. It's like if Venmo and, I don't know, weird teenage boys, perverted, silly, goofy idea got together. It's called Yonk. I found it yesterday. Did you look into that, Alex?
No, but I saw the post.
Oh my God. The premise is you send payments to your friends that they can only claim if they open the voice memos attached. And the conditions are that when they press play, it like temporarily hijacks their phone and it plays the message they send at max volume. It cannot be turned off. It cannot be muted. They have to listen to the whole thing to claim the payment. So, if I wanted to send Mashiste $20, I would send him just a terribly inconveniently timed, I know you're at work right now or on a public transport, whatever, vulgar message, and make him play it to claim my $20. And it just seems like, I don't know, what a fun internet native thing you could only do with phones now that we have them.
That is, I don't know what to make of that.
I know, right? And it's called Yonk. And the company, Small Brain something, they're on Warpcast is how I found them. They are doing an app every so many days, or maybe it's like an app a week or something. And so they're all these kind of like, novelty, but could be cool and very just native. Like I said, you could only do that in a world where people are like, oh, we have smartphones. And that's not what they're meant for. But like, yes, you could do that. So check those socials out, Gangesh. And if you have questions about that, really do sign up for the newsletter because we pretty regularly tag and talk about a lot of those platforms. And Alex and I both have referral links in our profile to Warpcast. We get like an extra bonus. We'd love to start a channel for the Rise Up Morning Show there. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It is $5. And I think they might be considering making it annual to pay for the gas you would use on the platform. But I think it's well worth it. Oh my gosh, the comments are coming in hot and heavy.
I know. I'm trying. Yeah.
Sam's
Again,
didn't get the newsletter. Send me a DM. Machiste says about Yonk, I love this. Evan, get ready to become filthy rich and widely hated. That's hilarious. I love it.
John, like I said, Aerodrome and B&B are not really related. They're not the same kind of thing. So I'm not. I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility that Aerodrome could like continue to pick up steam and then like change their offering or read this. What's the word I want here? They're not a BNB. BNB is so Aerodrome is like a single protocol. BNB has lots of different protocols. It's a whole ecosystem. Aerodrome could expand, I guess, but I don't see any evidence to suggest that they're going to be the BNB of base. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that.
I think I understand what they're saying because I personally hold sort of a similar opinion. Aerodrome, by my appearance, is the first to market like market maker swap exchange on base that is native to base. That's not like Uniswap. And they have a platform token. So they're like the pancake swap of base. Early mover. I think they have an advantage, and I think their token has room to grow because they likely will continue to. I mean, base is just shipping right now, and most people I'm finding are really not over there. It's like the natives.
Yeah,
I think that's why they asked that and said that.
Okay, it's just a weird comparison. Take it easy. Like I said, it's not going to happen. That's okay. We'll do here's the PSA. That's not a real thing.
What's not a real thing, Alex? I'm in the dark. I'm lost in the comments. Help me out.
The unrealized tax on unrealized gains is not going to happen. So this whole tax thing is being blown out of proportion. It's being almost exclusively reported in content of people who just want to farm you for attention and likes. And he's a nice kid, but Josh just did it yesterday, and I'm like, you read way too much news to make a stupid fucking video like this.
Oh, fear mongering about the tax law?
Yeah, but
yeah,
get your attention, I guess. The proposal was made by Biden months ago. Nothing has changed. It's not a real proposal. There's barely any information in it. It's a distraction. It's not going to happen. There is no way that Congress passes that in any way, shape, or form. Even if everything were to come to fruition exactly as Biden wrote it, and let's just pretend that for now Congress is just going to give him everything he asked for, the process to make that law from the state that it's in right now is ages away. And they would never pass that. And most of the stuff that was proposed in that doesn't affect like anybody. And if it affects anyone in this room, then, hire me because you're making a shitload of money. So just like everyone, we just need to calm down about the tax thing. Think about the timing with which this old story got recirculated from the administration. They have a lot of things that they would love to distract you from. We are seeing like Kent State vibes across colleges all over the country right now. You have the Attorney General calling for the same thing that was called for pre-Kent State. That's not a good look. I said Attorney General and I meant Speaker of the House. I'm sorry. Then you've got the horribly unpopular situations in the Middle East that the Biden administration has got their hands all over. There's all kinds of stuff they don't want you to pay attention to. So we're like, hey, quick, let's fire them all up again about taxes and then, start the fight again about, eat the rich. That was a good narrative for us. Let's bring that back up again. And it's an election year. So yeah, don't listen to any influencer who is peddling that story as like should you be scared, because they're not your friend. I don't know. I could and should make a video about what it actually says, but it won't go anywhere. I'm a little bit about that kind of stuff, but
I am still getting caught up. I'm sorry. I'm listening to you talk, and then I'm stopping the scroll, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta scroll a little more. You guys are active today. It's Monday, guys. Uh,
uh, Nick, I have not heard that one specifically, but that sounds horrible. If that's accurate, that's a stupid idea.
what is the
But
idea? Read it for me because I'm lost.
what do you think about Canada only allowing you to buy a certain amount of crypto yearly?
Yeah, that's wild, and
Yeah.
exactly why crypto was invented.
Yep. Yeah. Hot topic. Um,
Optimized health. You wanted to know, did we study this stuff conventionally? No. I'm a first career actor who studied communication at the college and postgraduate level. And most of my work experience, while very varied, has nothing to do with like economics or incentive design or technology until really the last, you know, several years of life where learning about blockchain, smart contracts, it was sort of a watershed light bulb for me that I wanted this to be part of, the work I'm doing in my life. Specifically, what Alex and I do to try and educate people like us. Alex also doesn't have a super technical background in the sense, we're not developers or anything, but be in a place to be influencing and building the things that we believe will help create a more egalitarian world. We got to hang out in the hype cycle with the zombie crypto tokens, but we're absolutely around teams with high conviction, great products, doing things that nobody's ever done before. And that's my favorite thing about it is that we're not conventionally educated in this. There isn't a curriculum for this right now. People are building it, and we're trying to hang out here on the show because we want to give our shot at what that curriculum could look like. Certainly, more so than these three cryptos are going to make you rich on TikTok.
Even though those get just crazy views every time, and I'm just, oh,
You're what's
I'm
the
such a, I'm
what? How
such
do
a
you get
bitter
salty
little
if you're
man.
not a bag holder? A salty.
Just salty.
Just salty, just a salty. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Mad Easy Money. I don't think I know. Your name looks familiar to me, but I am not sure I know you well enough to let you up. I'm sorry to say, it's not that we don't want to let you up. We'd love to have commentary and questions from folks in our community. It's that we just want to protect the community. We've had it happen once or twice before that somebody comes up and does something hateful. So remind me who you are. Send me another comment or two. I promise I'll catch up.
Not accusing you of being a bot. We've just had some bad experiences, so we usually like to talk to somebody before bringing them on
Yeah,
stage.
and if you're it's hard to talk in the comments like this. If you are newer to the show or the community, check out the riseupmorningshow.com. We've got links to a free Discord community there where Alex and we tend to spend, a fair amount of time. We check it off, and if you want to get to know us better, that might be an easier place to do it. And let me make sure I'm following you because then I can check out if you've got content I can see. So if you've got a question we can help with, though, please do share it in the comments if you're able. Oh, good, great. I'm just a crypto guy on TikTok. Snoop of crypto, like Snoop Dogg. Isn't Snoop the Snoop of crypto?
I think Snoop is the Snoop of crypto.
I think Snoop is the Snoop of crypto. I think I'm all caught up on the comments. And I just want to shout out Tori for saying,
I'm sure that I'm missing something.
absolutely. If we're missing a comment, feel free to type it again. I wanted to shout out Tori for the great comment of I hear BlackRock uses water too, because that's about where I'm at. It's hard to get away from any and all of it.
And it's not to say that, like you're not right to be concerned about, this, that, or the other thing, or, whatever. I think I'm just more at peace with my overwhelming level of concern for most things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's very hard not to be a little bit defeatist about it, just because, and this is the proverbial it. I'm sure that if you peel back the layers on pretty much everything, I mean, pick your thing. walk into the grocery store, I'm sure there are only like 3 companies that own every single thing on all of those shelves put together. I mean, Evan and I have joked about, the glasses in Warby Parker. I also know that there is like one company that basically has a monopoly on all eyewear made
Hmm.
almost worldwide. That almost all of it is owned by the same single company. So like there is the dark world of basically everything. Money makes the world go round. Lots of things. I just had this conversation with someone the other day. They were talking about medical care, and I was like, well, it's an industry of necessity. You can charge whatever you want, and people don't have a choice. Um, it sucks, but like at the end of the day, you have 2 choices. You can either be overwhelmed and defeated about the fact that we cannot do anything about all of that stuff, or you can just try to live your life and see what you can effect change upon, and go from it. That because by the logic of everything is hopeless, then there's really no point getting out of bed any morning. And I don't know. I just that's just it's not a productive way to live your life.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. And I also think that like it's so depressing to try and limit your own personal self in ways that most of those people are not going to, that it can seriously impede your effectiveness to actually catalyze lasting change. Like the most helpful thing I can do is probably not worry so much about restricting myself to only shopping at places that are the most organic, cruelty or whatever. I got to make the decisions that allow me to make the most impact. And that probably will look different for everybody. You shouldn't hold somebody like me to the same standard you hold Nestle to for how much energy they use or water they consume, kind of thing. We can all do our part, but that's kind of a myth perpetuated by people with way more power than us who have a vested interest in maintaining the status quo, but having us use a little less so we don't notice they use so much more. Like that's not helping anybody. We got to change the system, and it's possible. So get your groceries at Walmart if you must, and then focus on that. Mutual aid, grow a garden, talk about crypto with your friends, that kind of thing. Oh, I
The
love this. I'm going to read this out loud, Alex. More valuable than all the money in the world is your character. I love it.
So Mad Easy Money, it's not in that bill. The thing you're talking about is a completely separate proposal. It is months and months old. It has been blown out of proportion and fear mongered by everybody with a platform. Every crypto creator who just likes to bloviate without reading is talking about it, and they don't understand what they're talking about.
Not a cause for concern.
It's not in the bill. Nothing was passed. It's not going to be passed. Even if it was passed, we're years away from it. And it does it unless you are over here making more than $1 million in income and more than $400,000 in investment income every year. It doesn't affect you anyway.
Hubli Khan gave some context to the Canadian thing. It's about tracking. Limits to purchases apply until you provide positive ID. Basically, a way to get you to KYC. Which, again, that's kind of why we invented crypto. I'm sure that people, in response to that, will have all kinds of ways to get around it.
It's a ham-handed way to get a little bit more control behind the guise of AML and counterterrorism finance laws.
Mm-hmm. Donstar asked again, maybe just if we would talk a little more specifically about aerodrome finance. And here's what I want to tell you is I don't know enough to have an opinion about how is it priced in terms of is it reasonably or unreasonably priced. What I can tell you is over time, the market cap looks like about what it looked like a month ago, and it had kind of a big up and down, a couple $100 billion up and down in that time. That before that, it was mostly up only. And so if I wanted to determine for myself, and I want Alex's opinion on this too, if we were going to research this for ourselves and determine is this appropriately priced, the first thing I would want to go do is personally, I know this is a legitimate project. I have enough context. I don't need to do that part of the research. I would be looking at the next step, which kind of goes beyond our video that we just published, Alex, which would be like, I'm looking at their socials. I'm looking at their volume inflows and outflows compared to what they have been. how are people doing DeFi on Aerodrome? Does the activity of similar peers in industry, if they really are like a pancake swap, I'm going to find that out. How close is that comparison? How reasonable do I expect it is, therefore, that the people who are using this tool are going to continue to use it, make the price justified, or help grow it by shipping new products? What would you be thinking about if you were looking at Aerodrome? Anything different?
I have not done any kind of appropriate reading to have a conversation about Aerodrome past what I've already said.
Well, no, what I'm asking you is, where would you start? I have a little bit
Oh.
of context on it, so that's where I would go next to determine, is the price appropriate? Where would you go? You would start at the beginning.
I would start at the beginning. I would probably start on Deck Screener and follow all of the appropriate links out there from the various different metrics that one would track the project by, and then to their hub, their website, their socials, my usual steps to determine whether or not something is worth more of my time. I think it's really hard to say though right now whether or not you can't really say that anything right now is like appropriately priced.
Yeah.
Because there's like two types of projects in the crypto space at like this stage of the market, and granted right now we're in kind of that like crabbing, near having crab phase. Okay. John, I appreciate you, and I this is not the place. This is not the place. I understand what you're saying.
Alex, but we're lost in the comments.
I respectfully disagree. It's just it's not a talking point that's worth any attention. Threw me off.
No, it's okay. You're just saying, though, you'd start in a more foundational place to really get a sense of what Aerodrome is trying to do, who's their community, who's their user, that stuff.
Yes, today
we're having some wild conversation. I'm here for it, though. I'm sorry to not be able to keep up as much in the comments, but it looks like you guys are doing just fine.
You guys go off.
I'm sorry, I can't keep up. Everyone on YouTube watching this in the future is going to be like, wow, this is unhinged. These guys, they don't know what they're talking about.
To
now,
YouTube, I'm very distracted by the arguments in the comments.
Usually we're a little more cogent. Aerodrome, it's a project you might like, Alex, in terms of if you're into exchange tokens still. It's got a reason for existing, and it's getting attention. Who knows if it will keep up, if another competitor will emerge. This is about that time, though, too. Somebody else, absolutely. If Aerodrome just exists and base is hot, then somebody else is trying to crack the nut of, how do I take some of this sweet, sweet liquidity away from Aerodrome by building a faster or smoother or easier to understand product. I have not personally used the Aerodrome product. I've only read about it. So that would be another thing I'd want to do, too, is like competitive research. Who else exists trying to solve this problem? How good is their product? How likely do I think it is? Are they well capitalized? Are they going to take attention away from Aerodrome? Who's talking about Aerodrome? Is it Jesse Pollock and everybody on Warpcast? In which case, those kind of things can help you get a sense. Because $500 million market cap is nothing to sniff at, but for an exchange on the biggest exchange, the only real big exchange on an L2, that's room to grow. It's not going to do it 100x probably, but maybe that makes it a little less risky, a little stabler.
I think, I'll definitely throw a little bit in there and like mess around and at least see how it works and all that good stuff.
It passes my sniff test from, obviously this is not a scam. Obviously it's a product people are using and it's like interesting right now. That would be another question I'd be asking, is like, sometimes when you're seeing the movement on something, it's too late. Like, or
Yeah.
it's not the right time right now. If you would have bought
Well,
in the middle of this month after the big pump, they blew up like looks like maybe 50%. If you would have bought at that time, that would have been the wrong time because now they're down like 50%. You know, doesn't mean it's a bad investment, but don't chase
right.
the candles.
Yeah. So yeah, looking at the price right now of it, it probably, oh geez, down 16.5% on the day.
Mm-hmm.
It probably needed to happen. I mean, look at the so from September last year of its chart starting until February 27th, it did like nothing. It went from well, I
Actually,
can't
maybe I
even
can
say
pull
that.
this up so people can take a look at it. Because it's reminiscent of a cake chart. Is kind of what it made me think of, or like another exchange token.
Yeah. So like, right, if you're looking at buying it right now, you're definitely trying to catch a knife. And
He's not wrong.
that's hyper risky, because basically from the 26th of February, so on February 26th, this thing was 10 cents. Okay, so even now, it's up 1100% from there. And at its peak, which was only, what, 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
it topped out at $2.30. So we went from 10 cents to $2.30 in about a month and a half.
Yeah,
And
that's
now
super fast.
and now it's finding itself. So it will probably, I mean, I would imagine that it will come down farther. Right now nothing is doing well enough except for your odd meme. Um, and of course it had no reason to go up that high except for, the hype train carrying it. It was in price discovery, which is obviously a very risky time to do anything. Tux, this is Aerodrome on it's a project built on base.
That's right. And a lot of people have been asking about it here and there, and just we like to give our opinion on why the chart might look like this and how you can ascertain what's going on here. Is this a project worth more of your time and attention? Tuxitude says I'm familiar. Yeah, yeah. What do you think? Is it overpriced? Is it appropriately priced now after this? I was saying maybe just before you joined that those would be kind of the questions that I would be asking. I'm familiar with the service. I know what they do. I know that it could be appropriately priced. Um, yeah, like catching a falling knife, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
My
maybe
my point in
it's been honestly, if I'm being completely transparent with you, it's been on my list to find a good time to buy into it because that's a narrative that I have learned a lot of mistakes about.
Yeah.
Is exchange tokens on new hot blockchains. Um,
I will I will say that it's much more interesting to me now, um, than it was, you know, 2 weeks ago. And if it, I mean, because what's that? What's that? I can't do math. Evan, help me.
2 weeks ago, what was the
No,
price?
if 2 weeks ago it was 230, and now it's $1.10.
Yeah, so over 100%.
It's lost a lot.
It's lost a lot. And Tech
It,
CEO says, as a rookie chart looker, I think it could go down more. It could go down more, but you know,
sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I don't know if that was meant to be funny or not. Um,
rookie chart looker.
no, it looks like it could go down more. There's nothing to analyze on this chart, dude. This is like looking at the chart of a meme that launched a week ago and trying to do TA on it. Like there's nothing to analyze here. It is a project that did nothing, ripped 2,000%, and is now coming back down again. Like it looks like a meme. That's what this looks like. So like it could absolutely go down. Based on this chart right here, my expert opinion is that it could go down more, or it could go up, or it could stay the same. And all of those are equally likely based on what we're seeing here.
Well, it could go
This
down,
is
it could go up, and ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. Yeah.
let me answer my opinion of the price action of any crypto on Earth. Could go up, could go down, could stay the same.
Yeah, that's funny. Hubli Khan asked a question about this. This is interesting. How do you tell before you get into a crypto community the kind of people who are buying that crypto? If you've been in crypto for a minute, you kind of know. And I wish there were more videos on TikTok like this about like, if tokens were people. You kind of know what the flavor of each, community is, politically speaking, personally speaking, the kind of folks you're likely to meet when you walk in that room. And I think if you're interested in looking for the large L, you described them libertarian cards, then I would look into a community like Monero. Any token that labels itself a privacy coin, ZK Cash is another one. I think there's a lot of sort of mixture of, my take is middle of the spectrum libertarian, with some MAGA influence tends to be like XRP. But people who have degrees in philosophy and will sit down and debate you without using racial slurs, that's like Monero. And in some ways, they might be even more extreme and like marginal in their opinions. So I'm not saying that as like a moral judgment. I'm just saying like as an observation. But if you're interested in those kind of people, I would say privacy coins. Monero,
Yeah.
ZK Cash, honestly Bitcoiners, but they're kind of like the mid-chart of Monero holders. I would say.
I've been to a lot of crypto related conferences, and one unifying theme is that there is usually a little booth over in the corner with like 6 nerds wearing Monero t-shirts, and it's always so fascinating because there is no like Monero foundation. They're just like enthusiastic holders that basically just want to talk about conspiracies and privacy, and that's it. Like I went up to them once and I was like, "Hey, I'm generally a fan. What's your guys' association with Monero?" And they were just like, "Oh no, we just like it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Talked to him for like 20 minutes about news general, and it was the stranger. They had nothing to sell. Like every other booth had like a product that they were promoting or peddling, or some new staking protocol or some new game or some metaverse or some whatever. And then there was just like these 5 geeks in Monero t-shirts in the corner that were just
But that's
like,
kind of like the spirit of the Monero community. And I
oh,
honestly,
100%.
I've had delightful conversations that made me want to get more involved. But it seems like a community that you kind of have to commit to. I have a hard time with friend groups like that. You guys are my my deepest commitment of community for sure. And I like us because we're not into any one project so much.
Mm-hmm.
There's our friend Neil. Hey Neil.
Nick asks if you would rather hang out with CZ or Vitalik for an afternoon, and you know what? That's a really hard question.
That's a great question. These are the questions that we need to have more of, honestly. This is like if you were a breakfast cereal, what would you be of crypto? I would hang out with Vitalik. It's not that hard for me. I feel like CZ.
No, this hurt. It hurts me to say a little. I know what I'm going to talk about with Vitalik. I have a lot of questions I would love to ask CZ. Specifically,
honestly, I do too.
It hurt. It's not to say at all that I wouldn't want to have dinner with Vitalik, because I think that would be a wild experience. But I very badly want to look CZ in the face and ask him. I want to see the look in his eye when you mention FTX, because
I just find out.
Because I'm pretty sure that man like near single-handedly catalyzed the downfall of FTX, and I think he knew about it way ahead of time, and I think he was waiting for his perfect moment to absolutely eviscerate a competitor, and I think he demolished them, and I think he sent that tweet and then just kicked back in his chair when he and just watched. And I want so badly to have that conversation with him.
Dude, to be a fly on the wall about? Absolutely. He'd be like, thank you for asking, Alex. And now I have to kill you.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, I think that would be the conversation. I don't think I would walk away from the lunch, but I have to know.
Machiste said, CZ will talk you into something that gets you arrested. Vitalik would be bored with my peanut brain.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much it. Like, I think it would be really, really cool to meet and talk to Vitalik. But I don't, it would be like me trying to, have lunch with Stephen Hawking. What am I going to say that's going to intellectually stimulate that man? Nothing. But CZ has got his fingers in so many different things, and I want to.
He might financially advise you if you asked him, honestly.
I want to know. Yeah,
I wouldn't be sad about it.
That'd be way too interesting.
I think you're right. I feel like the Vitalik thing, this is the last thing I'll say about it, is I think Vitalik is more approachable than people give him credit for. I imagine he sits alone at night and plays like, I am beautiful no matter what they say. Like he's totally confident in being a little bit nerdy, and he's like, he's probably okay with that too. He's probably like, people don't approach me because they think I'm intimidating or whatever, but I'm just a regular guy. Like a Kermit the Frog kind of vibe. What do you think, Alex, about this question? This is a great question from our friend Earthy Hen Vibes. I want to have a competition with you to see who has the simpler explanation, and people in the comments too, because somebody will find a way to type it in 10 characters. I know it. What's the difference between ETH and wrapped ETH? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, it's like that thing where you can't have a Cuban cigar in the United States, but you can have a Dominican one. So if you really want to smoke a Cuban cigar in the United States, you have to put it in a Dominican paper. If you want to use Ethereum on a blockchain that doesn't have Ethereum, you have to dress it up in a little suit that will let it hang out on that blockchain and party there. So you dress it up like something. It's like wearing it it's wearing a costume is the super minimized non-technical definition of it. But you can wrap most tokens, and essentially what that means is that this token does not live here, but we want it to live here. We want to use it here, so let's put it in a costume so that it fits in.
And you might not just do that because you're taking it to a different blockchain. You might also do that because you are creating, when you wrap something, a token itself is a proxy. Like it is a thing that claims to represent another thing. And tokens are good at representing certain kinds of things, like monetary value. Dollars, for example, could be said to be tokens of monetary value. They are different from words, which are like tokens of meaning making between people. All tokens are about making meaning. And they have an assigned meaning and a socially constructed meaning. But wrapped tokens are derivatives, meaning they are a symbol that represents another symbol. And a lot of people will use them not just to take an asset to another blockchain, to represent it on that blockchain. They have the same price, ETH and WETH, but they might also use it to give a liquid form to something where it doesn't yet exist, to leverage something. If I have ETH and I stake it, I might get a wrapped ETH or liquid ETH staked ETH token back. That is a derivative representing the value of that ETH that, believe it or not, I can go to other places and spend. I might stake my ETH with Alex. He gives me a token representing that, and I take that over to Machiste and stake that token with him, and he gives me another token, and I'm staking it. All of a sudden, I'm staking it 9 different places. Now, the problem with this is where what we call leverage comes in. All of those tokens are dependent on the token at the base layer, my initial Ethereum. If the price of that asset goes down, they all go down. If the price of that asset goes down so much that Alex, the first person I'm loaning my stuff to and taking money from, says, hey man, I'm gonna need that money back because your ETH is not doing it for me anymore. Then I'm gonna have to go to Machiste and CZ and Vitalik and Neil and everybody else that I've got a liquid derivative from. And that is one of the reasons that FTX collapsed. At the bottom of that pile, like Alex was just saying, was CZ with a big fat loan with his name on it. I mean, not the only one. I'm
I was
simplifying.
going to say.
I'm simplifying, but that's the kind of thing. There's much more, and that's a big risk. Every time you do that, you're like multiplying your risk for what we call liquidation. That the original person will say, "Give me the money back," and you won't be able to get there in time, and the house of cards will fall. But liquid tokens, derivatives, staked ETH, wrapped ETH, they are one of the exciting things about blockchain because we can kind of make an otherwise untradeable asset totally liquid. My favorite example right now is Lido points. There's a protocol on ETH where if you stake your ETH, you earn these points called Lido. Well, the points have all been distributed. You can't get any more. But somebody has created a token to represent the Lido points they have accrued and are selling that token. It's a symbol of a symbol. And that kind of thing happens all the time in crypto. Call it wrapped, call it staked. It's a costume, like Alex said. I like to imagine my wrapped ETH is wearing a little tie. Not like this, but like a tie. It's a business occasion for wrapped ETH, in my mind. Walking into OpenSea, helping me buy little NFTs. I don't know.
Kublai's still on the on the cigar analogy. I just remember that the first time I ever bought a Cuban cigar was in the Czech Republic, and like right there in the store, it was called Moriarty's, and it's off Wenceslas Square in Prague. It's this like iconic smoke shop that you feel like you walk in, and it's surprising that they don't immediately drape like a red velvet jacket around you when you walk in the front door. Really cool. I have no clue if it's still there, but anyway, it was like right there at the counter. They like you buy the thing, you bought some Cuban cigars, and then the guy there was like, "American?" I was like, "Uh-huh." He's like, "You going home?" Yep. And he just immediately pulled the wrappers off, put Dominican papers on them. He's like, "All right, here you go." Out the door you go. Sir, it was a gift wrapping service they had right there in the store.
You can still tell it's Cuban by the aroma. My sister is super straight-laced, which is not to say she isn't any fun, but she's very straight-laced. And she went to Cuba, and one of my favorite pictures of my sister is she, did a when in Rome, and she got a cigar while she was there. And there's this great picture of her just like puffing a fat stogie. It's fantastic. I've never smoked a Cuban cigar. I'm not much of a cigar guy.
I was going to say cigars are cigars. There are better ones, there are worse ones, but you're either into cigars or you're not. It's a strong odor.
A strong odor, indeed.
I've had some really nice ones. I've had some really bad ones, but at the end of the day, it's very overpowering aroma.
Neil says, I saw that if you have a cold storage wallet, it increases your chances to getting audited. I would be curious to know what the source for that is and how they identify it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to call tentative bullshit on that one, but I would love to read whatever you read.
Let me see real quick. The form, there's a new form, I want to say 1099. I was hearing about it on the Unchained podcast the other day, and it's Monday morning, and I'm like, so I can't honestly tell you what there was about it, but the IRS is very much catching up to crypto, kind of the way everyone else is. I expect them to have a lot of changes for us, 5 years from now that look very different than what we do today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Neil says it was on Twitter. Oh, then absolutely. Jessica Pennington says
1099B. That's right. Thank you. Crypto tax form 1099B. Let me see if I can get a TLDR so you don't have to keep typing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that, that's probably not the hardest thing to figure out. You track that someone has purchased a hardware wallet. It would be safe to assume that they are keeping crypto on it, and it would be that's obviously something that like any tax software is now asking you about when you fill them out.
Yeah, it's 1099B. It's issued by exchanges to help report capital gains and losses. And to be fair, some exchanges have already been filing these. A lot of them that do KYC right now, like Coinbase, submits these. And I'm sure Kraken probably does too. Starting in 2025, all exchanges operating in the United States will be required to report this. And I think that means possibly decentralized exchanges too. And I think it could mean like Ledger, etc., who function as an exchange sometimes if they facilitate the buying and selling of cryptocurrency. There's a guide here on Coin Ledger about it that looks like it could be really helpful, and maybe I can snip this to put it in the newsletter. But generally speaking, we recommend a software like Coinly. Is Coinly the one you use, Alex, or do you use a different one?
I use Coinly.
Yeah, and I actually, one of the segments in this newsletter was like, hey, here are just some helpful links that we don't have an article for, but you might need them later. And one of them was a link to Coinly. It's integrated with everything, TurboTax, whatever. They use 1099Bs and other forms that you can get from your exchanges. They plug stuff in, send you a single spreadsheet, you upload it, it's good. Laws are changing, but I don't think you have to worry too much about it. We have the tools for it.
Yeah, so Ed Brown asks if the IRS, or doesn't ask, sorry, the IRS does ask you if crypto was sold. The couple things to keep in mind with that, just because I saw then Hublai said, buy some NFTs, sell them for pennies, and report it. You can absolutely document a loss that way, and you can defer some of your gains. It depends how much you're trying to defer, because of course, in keeping with the traditions and accordance of the U.S. tax system, there is a low ceiling on claimable loss at $3,000 of capital loss claimable per year per individual. However, you can roll over loss from one year into your losses for the next year. So like if you have 10K this year, you can roll some over into next year. It's not super helpful, but it is worth noting. And of course, there is no upper ceiling on capital gains that you can then be taxed on. And then as your gains go up, short versus long, the amount that in taxes that you'll pay goes up too. If you scroll down my page, I don't know, a few lines, there's a video. The thumbnail has like a white text in the background, and I think it's called Crypto Taxes or something. That's a breakdown of the 2023 guidelines for for capital gains tax reporting. We don't have the ones for 2023 yet, but we'll get them later this year.
I do have to make an amendment. I said Coinbase does use 1099B. They currently do not. For the 2023 year, they did not issue 1099Bs to customers or the IRS, but they will. And they do, they report in compliant ways to the IRS, though there's an article here that I haven't read the whole of. They report a 1099 miscellaneous for customers who earn more than $600 of income through staking, through referrals, and we'll start the other one in 2025, but that's all I got here. Cash App, Crypto.com, Robinhood, and Uphold. So, a lot of popular exchanges now, increasingly more, and eventually all. So get a jump start on it. It's not that scary. It's not that hard. I had to file for an extension this year, so I will be
every year.
Every year. I will be, they might as well just know. And I usually file it on tax day. So I'm going to try and make some more crypto tax content so that you can see, like, this is the step-by-step process. And hopefully in the process, you won't cry so much, because I'm right there with Machiste. I think I'm carrying over some losses still.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Jessica, I'm curious, are you just well-read, or do you work in this field? Because I'm definitely getting the sense that you probably know more about this than we do, and I would be interested.
Absolutely. Machiste wants to know what I'm going to classify my Crypto the Game entry 0.1 ETH as on my crypto taxes. Well, the first 0.1 I'm going to report as lost or stolen, because the first time I got voted off was a blindside, man. Totally blindsided. And the second one I'm going to report as that's definitely a business expense. 100% a business expense. I've had several meetings. I'm going to say that our friendship was deepened through that. I've logged some dogs as proof recently. By the way, if you haven't checked out logadog.xyz, go to that website right now. It's got the most seamless login experience using Coinbase. What's the wallet called, Mike? Uh, it's fantastic, and it's a great consumer. It's Yonk is great, but I actually use this one, so And somebody's got to challenge my spot at the throne. I haven't reported my most recent dogs, but I'm up to 5. And I took a picture last night, Mike, just for kicks and giggles. I was at a cookout where they were serving hot dogs, and I took a picture of one without a bun because I knew it wouldn't count, because I just wanted you to see what a hot dog fanatic I am. I don't even need that one, man. Throw them up on the scoreboard.
Okay. Yeah. She does taxes and payroll and bookkeeping. So yes, definitely. I mean, then please, by all means, as long as you can sit here and fact check what we're saying, I appreciate it.
Me too. Do you know Angel or Olegwe Eve? Because he's our CPA friend who when was he on the show?
Oh, geez.
7 weeks ago.
In a few weeks. Yeah.
A few weeks. But he's the guy we go to say, we clarify this? What's this mean? So it's good to have Jessica around too.
So Neil shared the IRS and cold storage source was someone on Twitter who posted that they were audited, and the IRS crypto committee told their accountant that cold storage was a huge red flag.
Wow.
So interesting. Anecdotal, but I don't know, seems legit.
ABT Dubs is hoping we can point him to some tutorials for transferring crypto between wallets. What wallets are you trying to transfer crypto between? And then tell me what network these cryptocurrencies live on, if you know. And if you're like ABT Dubs and you don't know, that's okay. I want you to know your cryptocurrency not only has like a name as a token, but it lives on a particular blockchain network. Some crypto tokens live on multiple blockchain networks. And you need to make sure when you're transferring to and from different wallets, sending to your friends, that you are sending on the appropriate network. Usually you can tell this by the wallet address. If it starts with a 0x something something something, that's an EVM wallet. You should only send that crypto to other 0x something something wallets. If it starts with a BTC something something, well, that's a Bitcoin network, and so on and so forth. You should be able to double check this in the interface of your wallet app. Let us know which wallet you're using, and then maybe we can play the game where we try and help you figure out how to send it back and forth. A typical tax rule, Hublicon says, that doesn't affect the rich much. 3,000 of 1 million is 0.3%, but it's 30% of 10K. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, Dubs says, I lost $100 from Coinbase wallet to Coinbase. Can't believe I did that. Oh. Well, how can we help you transfer it? I wonder if you sent it to the wrong network. Oh, Alex, you're getting some sunshine. It's about that time. It's about that time of day. Hublicon says, BlackRock got it. He got that $100. Mr. BlackRock, just to balance the books. Grand Rising, Crypto Move fam. Good morning. Good morning, Jason. Welcome, everybody. Alex is literally moving out of the sun. It's morning somewhere. It's morning there. I'm trying to see what Dubs is saying about this transfer. I'm waiting with bated breath to see if we can help. We're sending USDC from Coinbase wallet to Coinbase. And is that what you still need to transfer? Is his skin burning quick? Back to the crypt. Yeah, Alex, is your skin burning in the sunshine? I don't know, man.
Yes.
Do you use Coinbase and Coinbase One or Coinbase Pro? I don't tend to do a lot of transferring there. So I'm going to have to log in and see if I can refresh my memory. Let me check. Hold it down for me.
So if you transferred and it ever landed, I mean, the dumb question that I would ask is, was it like USDC on one chain being sent to another? You know, like because USDC exists on most on most. If I sent Avalanche wrapped USDC to an Ethereum wallet, for example.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking happened. I would go to the blockchain explorer and I would copy. First, I would go to your wallet, your Coinbase wallet, and I would copy your wallet address, your USDC wallet address that you sent from, paste it in the appropriate explorer, probably Etherscan, but possibly another network because we don't know which network this lives on. I'm trying to pull up the wallet so I can see where they say that because I don't remember.
You could ask them too. I mean, the one nice thing about the big centralized exchanges, they do have a customer service department, so you can ask. I know my mom. I don't know if you're still in here, but she had a transaction just come through. Like, I don't know, it was like a month or two ago. That I'm pretty sure I sent to her like a year and a half ago. And it vanished into the ether, and then like 2 months ago it just deposited.
Wow.
And I know she was trying to figure out where it came from, and it was really hard to find like a hash ID on the transaction, so to go look it up ourselves. So she emailed, was it Coinbase or Kraken? One of the two. I think it was Kraken. Emailed Kraken and asked them, for the on-chain ID for the transaction or whatever. And then they sent all the information over. We were able to figure out what it was, but it was interesting.
Okay, so I opened up my Coinbase wallet. I'm looking on my desktop, and I opened up some USDC, and I'm going to send it and see what it tells me. I so far have not seen which network this lives on. But I see that when I choose to send, it gives me the option to select network and recipients. Yes, faster, cheaper are available. And it looks like it's going to automatically kind of do the conversion for me. I see select a method. Ethereum is default, which means I'm probably sending Ethereum-based USDC. But I can send it to Base, I can send it to Arbitrum, I can send it to the Avalanche C chain, I can send it to a wallet on Optimism. If I want to receive, I do see that it's an Ethereum address. So I would double check the address of, when I go to my wallet, I'll show you what I see, just so you can look at it and see what to do. And this applies to anybody for sure. When I got to Coinbase, I saw my assets, I went over to USDC. I'm a whale, baby. I clicked on it, and then this is the widget that pops up. This is the desktop version. Send, receive. This is the wallet address it defaults to. It tells me right away this is on Ethereum. So this is the wallet you sent from.
I'm wondering, just because I just did this for a video where I tried to send something to the wrong chain through Coinbase, and it actively stopped me.
Oh, that's interesting. You want me to try?
Yeah, you can give it a try. I think it flags it as like an invalid address if you try to do it to the wrong one. I think, perhaps the
I think I have to choose one of these.
Yeah.
Using the options below, please select carefully, learn more. All of these are going to be 0x addresses though. Polygon, well, maybe not on Solana. Do you have a USDC on Solana, Alex, that I can try to... Actually, I think I do. Hang on. Does your recipient accept... This is what they give us.
Yeah.
Does your recipient accept USDC on Solana? If not, you could lose your funds. So, Abs, did you click this? Did you see a message like this? Or did you click a "Don't show me this warning again"? I'm not going to do that, but
it's also straight up possible that it just didn't work because it's not a true peer-to-peer transaction when you're using Coinbase.
Oh, this is an Ethereum wallet. I could do it with Phantom. Hang on, let me open a Phantom and get my address real quick. Get my social wallet open. I'm gonna whip you around so I can type a password. Let's see. Mashiste is my father. Send.
I did not know that
Father
we had
with a
the
little
same.
@sign.
Didn't know that we had the same password, but
I think everybody's been using that password lately. Okay.
yeah,
So
ABT. I would I would message customer support because it's possible that it just didn't work, and that
Yeah.
it's very possible that you made zero mistakes and they made the mistake. I have seen that happen before. I would personally double check because we could be troubleshooting looking for a mistake you could have made, and it could have just simply been them screwing it up.
Now here's the moment of truth. I've got my Solana address and I'm going to attempt to send it. Let's see if they give me a warning message here. Preview send. Oh no, they're not going to give me a warning message at all. They're just going to totally rug me. Oh, no, there it is. This address is not
Yep.
valid for the Ethereum network. So I really do bet, Alex, that that's exactly what's happening.
Yep.
And that is the benefit of centralized exchanges. So hopefully, and the other thing that can happen sometimes too is holds. Oh, I've had it happen before that Coinbase knows the transfer is going through, but they're just holding it for some reason.
Yep.
I've had that happen coming in and coming out. You know. Sorry, lost my phone. My Bricks wallet will accept renminbi. What is renminbi? Oh, hey buddy. Just sleeping in the sun, sweet girl.
She's waiting for breakfast.
ABT Dubs, you are so welcome, but I have to tell you, my name is Evan. You can call me Ethan if you like, but I may not know who you're talking to. I'm sure it was just a typo. It's no big deal. Maga Mission says Mustafa is the true Lion King. That sounds like a great meme token.
No, you are 100% true or correct. She does not care at all what ETH does. She's a Solana maxi.
She's I love Hublé Khan's suggestion that coins accepted need to be verifiable by wallets. Like there should be not just a protocol for that, but we have had a lot of comments in the last week about Coinbase Wallet specifically being a place since Base has gotten hot where folks are getting, dumb airdrops of meme tokens and NFTs they didn't ask for and which are cluttering up their wallet that they're afraid to interact with. There should be an escrow solution. Absolutely, there should. There should be like masking for your wallet address so you can sign up to a junk mail protocol and not have to worry about, is my wallet going to get? And I mean, the solution is just to make a new wallet, but it would be nice to have a real seamless user interface. That would be a great place for somebody who wanted to make some money in crypto. Mashiste, why don't you build it, man? Mashiste's got a big old brain. Dad.
He said he was never proud of you.
I saw that. I was just crying about it, We're gonna need you to put up a third window with the shot of the snoozing pups. Honestly, I don't know why we don't have a dog cam all the time. That can be Alex, that can be how we grow the Rise Up Morning Show guest account. Is we can just have it sit on the live with dogs in frame all the time. Absolutely.
Antonio, I don't know if it's good per se in the context of it being an excellent investment that's going to make us all rich, but I personally have some Avalanche, and I am enjoying, like I said, I'm enjoying the fact that they seem to have found their niche in gaming, and Avalanche dominated the Game Developers Conference this year, which is not a Web3 event, but anyone who went this year would have thought that it was. And I don't know. I say all the time I'm continuing to beat the drum that gaming and Web3 were meant to be together. I have no clue if it's a good investment. It may not be. It may never go anywhere or do anything, but I sure as shit have some Avalanche, and I have it because I intend to use it to try out all the games that are coming out this year and next year that I'm excited to give a shot to. That's about all I can say about it.
Mashiste suggested that if somebody doesn't want to see anything in their crypto wallet on Coinbase, they can just hide it. But I, at least on the web version, don't know how to do that. And it doesn't seem to be a feature that if you hold an asset is apparent or easy to access. And if it's, not apparent to me, then I don't know. I would like to think that probably it's not that apparent to anyone else. Can you believe, Alex, right now that the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs and the Mutant Ape Yacht Club NFTs have a floor price of 15 and 2.6 ETH respectively?
Yeah,
Wow.
I can believe it.
D-Gods 1.7 ETH, Azuki 4. Oh my gosh. The at one time blue chips that people thought would just, always be worth it. And here we are. This is
Yeah.
so
I
this
mean, that's still a significant sum of money, but compared to, I'm trying to remember the last time I remember seeing
the last time
bases.
I saw Bored Apes floor, it was 40.
Okay. I want to say that I vividly remember a like 200 floor at one point. In
I don't know
like,
about a floor, but it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think
yeah.
76 ETH was the floor at a time when ETH was like
Mm,
2100.
I'm pretty sure it was pretty. I think it was significantly higher than that. I'm talking about the time when like Justin Bieber bought one for hundreds of thousands of
Which
dollars,
already
and all the
before.
celebrities were getting
I
their
remember a
were
conversation
getting
where you
their.
were like, I might buy a mutant ape. You were like, I don't think I could ever swing for a bored ape, but I could maybe buy a mutant ape. Well, we're at the point now, Alex, where you're getting close to it. You could buy a bored ape now for less than you could have bought a mutant ape for then when we were having that
Mhm.
conversation. You remember
Yeah,
other
all I'll
side
say
other
is,
deeds? I remember Mihir was like, "You guys want to go in on
yeah,
another deed?" I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think it's the move. I don't think it's the move.
Machiste regrets not buying a Pudgy Penguin for 2.5 to 3. Dude, I vividly remember when they were at less than half, and I was like, what a stupid. Well, it's because of their, honestly, you know what? The reason that I personally ignored Pudgy Penguins as hardcore as I did is um, because the way that they gained notoriety at first was through a very shady influencer campaign with the Kryptonite Squad that involved gross misappropriation of large amounts of funding, a lot of undisclosed paid advertisements, and a lot of garbage and bullshit. And I was just like, yep, I don't want anything to do with any of that. And at the time, the floor was like zero point 0.2 or zero point 0.3. And then it went to zero point 0.6, and I was like, too late.
Tori says, sometimes I wish this was a club. I wish we could earn patches and go camping and talk about Web3. And tonight around the fire, we're talking about the floor price of the Bored Apes, which Neil confirmed was 153 ETH at its all-time high. So thank you, Neil. We could definitely do that. Our version of patches are POAPs, and we're working to unify our community. Right now, this is the gathering place, the meeting place. It's not ideal because we can't all talk and share the microphone. And honestly, it would be great to just have a big call around the fire. We're working on it, so stay tuned. For now, bear with us. We've got the newsletter kind of battened down. We're working on getting these tutorials up to YouTube in kind of a helpful manner and more medium form content there, so that people at all stages of the learning journey can have like a path to really catch up to where we are around the fire right now. It's very hard to have a conversation for people at all levels of experience, and we want it to be one. So bear with us. That's kind of our next step, as well as we're working on finding a platform to host everyone in our community that's better than Discord because it's more accessible, where we can do things like this, but more people can participate, where we can be present for questions. We can do other kinds of value where we can plan IRL meetups. That's the goal. So stay tuned for that. Alex, I am getting to the point where I'm well met. We're gonna have tomorrow on the show. I figure you want to do a couple more questions and we can preview the show tomorrow and give our final thoughts. Tomorrow
Yep.
on the show we're gonna have Mac Lorden. You know him, you love him, joining us about an hour in, and we're having Will back again. If you didn't see it, Will had an interesting video last week where he called DGI a rug pull as the conclusion of some research he had done. He did a follow-up video to explain the team had reached out to him and said, "No, we're not a rug pull. Here's a bunch of information. Ask us any questions," and is working on reassessing that. And we figured we'd ask him about it and ask Mac about it too. And since a lot of folks always want to ask Mac, this or that question, why not do it here on the show? A lot of the projects you ask about, he's more active in than us, and we just like hanging out with our friends. So also, if you know experts, influencers, people worth talking to who aren't just white guys with jawlines and facial hair, send them our way because we'll talk to them.
Please.
We got to get. Did you text Katie Evans?
No, not yet.
Text her, man. I think I might have her number. I don't remember. I'm gonna
No,
write that.
I have it. I just have to write it. I have to write something and send it to her.
I know. Alex is like, let me do it. Let me do it. She'd be so cool. She would be great to talk to. I texted Tatiana the other day. I'd love to have her on. And I got a text back again because I'd like to have her too. Great.
Tatiana's all over the place. Last I talked to her, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, she was in Lebanon.
Oh, she's still in Lebanon? I sent her a message on TikTok because I saw her content pickup. I was like, oh, are you back? Are you back home yet? When you are, come on the show.
Yeah, that I don't know. Like I said, I haven't talked to her in a couple weeks. But.
UCG accounts, please say hi. Yes, please help the algorithm by saying hi. If you want to do us a favor right now to support the show, the best thing you can do is give the screen a little tap when you're watching. The second best thing is probably to share it with a friend, to sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, even if you don't open it. As we're working on building a base of sponsors, that will be a helpful metric. How many people watch us? How many people really like us? And how many people read the newsletter? People care about those kind of things, and they cost you nothing. So help a brother out. Help his other brother out. We're going to talk to Warby Parker. We're getting glasses for the whole community. Tori says Will is obsessed with us. Will is obsessed with us.
Obsessed is a strong word.
Yeah. He's he's our friend. But I'm going to go with obsessed. Alex, how do we know if these Coinbase wallet airdrops are legit?
Like I said, that is about the 9th time that question has been asked, and I keep answering you. You got to read my comment back.
Oh, you answered him in the comment? I'm sorry, brother.
Yep,
I was like, I don't think you said it yet.
if you there is no way to know for sure, absolutely. But what I would do is look and see where and if the airdrop was advertised or promoted. So you can just look it up on social media and see what the conversation around it looks like. And you can see, who's talking about it, how they're talking about it, whether or not it was legit in that sense. Look at the token. So take whatever token was dropped to you and, dig into it the same way that you would anything. Do the, do the baby audit on it.
Yep.
And see what you can find. The spoiler alert is that there are tons of not legit airdrops, but I would look and see who's advertising it and how they're advertising it. That'll tell you a lot.
Yeah, and don't click into it, transfer it, trade it. Just get the contract address, take it to Dex Screener, take it to Token Sniffer, take it to a website like airdrops.io, take it to Twitter. All those are great places to start and see, is this the real deal? And use one or two places. Do a Google search. Don't just look at it on Dex Screener and see that the chart's off the rocks and transfer it. That could be a scam,
Yeah.
So if you need help with that DYOR process, that's our video tutorial of the week. Alex and I talk back and forth about CoinGecko, Etherscan, Token Sniffer, and Dex Screener. We take a contract for Render. That's the example token. People have been asking about that. And we just kind of walk it through the process. It's a 30-minute video, but the process that we do in the video, when you do it, you're going to do it in like 5 minutes or less. It's super quick. I think I said in the description, this is the briefest, like the easiest, simplest, briefest way to feel like you did the minimum standard of research. You can do more, but this is like, quick look, tools you trust, verifiable information. So check it out. I think that's the title. DYOR, do your own research, Faceless Labs. You find us, you'll find it. It's the new video.
Yep.
Oh my God, 16 messages. Guys,
I know.
How do you do it?
Machiste says the Potherium is gearing up for an airdrop, which is very cool. Like I said, Potherium was how I first was introduced to Machiste. That was a fun full circle moment. but yeah, they donated to our rescue. That was a couple years ago now.
And they're doing an airdrop?
Yeah, it's a frames interaction related airdrop. It looks like as much information as can be put into a TikTok live comment.
Yeah.
Tiny little character limit.
Is Manta good to buy now? I don't know. I almost put it on the newsletter in the bottom section, which is we talked about these tokens on the show. I will put it in this week. We can look at it maybe tomorrow, but only you can answer the question of is it good to buy? Because that's a personal question, and we want you to feel adequately equipped to answer it. So remind us on the show tomorrow. We can look into it together, ask some questions about it. And then at the end of the week, we'll release a list of what would you do tokens, and you can tell us what you think, because we want to know what you think too. Manta. I wish it was like a manta ray token. One of my ex-girlfriends got a job working at the Manta House at the zoo here in Memphis, and it was like a dream come true for her. She was just hanging out with mantas all the time in a pool. I was like, wow, that's great. She had no zoology training or anything. She was just the right person for the job, right place, right time. And I think of all the cool jobs I've had in my life, that one might be cooler. You know, Manta friend. Damn.
Had an influencer gift me 25 worth of a coin. Now I purchased a lot of that coin and worried. I mean, I would just make sure, like we said, we've got a lot of content about, how to do your own little audits on stuff. I would make sure that you did, do your due diligence on anything that you are considering or have purchased.
Mishiste, are you making a joke? You can stake your manta for lettuce? I'm sure Mishiste usually is joking, but not about stuff like that. I don't, did it go over my head? Might have gone over my head. I will read this though. Oh, I'm just kidding. If you're worried about something you hold, you probably hold too much. That's good. That's truth. Okay, everybody else, give us your final words of wisdom, your good jokes, your last minute, questions or whatever. That's that final thought from Mishiste was like a good cue to me that like maybe it's time to ride off into the sunset. I don't know what are you doing the rest of the day? I'm going to try and get a nap at some point in time today. I am underslept.
I have a lot to do today. I have a lot of work to do.
Well, text me about. Do you want to film some more today, or do you need to? I have stuff to do, but I have time now. In the next couple hours. So let me know. No
we
pressure.
should. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'm hoping to wrap up everything I'm trying to do in the next couple hours, but
yeah. Okay. Well, then let's see. What does everybody say on the way out the door? Who's got the best final thought? Tori is cleaning the garage and may go live in the garage later. I think that would be a great name for a live in the garage. Live in the garage. Thank you. Final thoughts. Love it. Another world is possible. I love that. That's a great final thought too. Well then, friends.
Well met.
Thank you guys for joining us. We're going to be back tomorrow, same time, same place, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Tap our faces, follow the newsletter, check out the tutorial, and join us back here tomorrow. Until then, my friends, rise up.